Welcome to Echo Tales. I'd love to know what you think. Every comment helps me make the next story better. Subscribe to stay tuned. 2 weeks. That's how long my wife and her book club decided I should be invisible. But by day 14, I took the word invisible literally. And when she realized what that meant, the panic call started at 11 p.m. and didn't stop until dawn. Let me tell you how this whole thing started, because the ending is going to blow your mind. It was a Thursday evening when everything changed. I came home early from grocery shopping around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I heard laughter coming from the living room. Rachel's book club was meeting. 5 women sitting around our coffee table with wine glasses and a stack of books I knew they hadn't actually read. I walked in with grocery bags, smiled, said hello to everyone. The room went completely silent. All 5 women stared at me for exactly 3 seconds, then deliberately looked away and resumed their conversation like I hadn't spoken at all. Rachel didn't even glance in my direction. I stood there holding the bags, confused. "What's going on?" I asked. Nothing. Not a word. Not even a flicker of acknowledgement. They talked right over me about some relationship psychology book they'd been discussing. I set the bags down on the counter and tried again. "Rachel, everything okay?" She walked past me to refill her wine glass, reaching around me like I was a piece of furniture. That's when I noticed it. The way they weren't looking at me wasn't natural. It was coordinated. The book club members left an hour later. They all said goodbye to Rachel. Not one of them looked at me on their way out. After they left, Rachel went straight upstairs without a word. I followed her, trying to understand what was happening. She got ready for bed in complete silence, put in her earbuds, and turned away from me. I lay awake that first night, trying to make sense of it. Rachel slept peacefully, or at least pretended to. I replayed the coordinated looks, the perfect timing of their silence. Then I remembered Rachel mentioning that her book club had been reading some relationship psychology book about communication and power dynamics. I didn't know it then, but that book club had voted 4-1. The motion was to treat me like I was invisible for 30 days to teach me appreciation. Rachel was about to learn a very different lesson. The next morning, Friday, I made coffee. Rachel came down and made her own using a different mug. I tried casual conversation. "Sleep okay?" Silence. She made herself breakfast and left my usual bowl in the cabinet. Then she went to her home office and closed the door. That's when I realized this wasn't going to be a one-day thing. This was going to continue. I worked from my desk in the living room. Rachel came out for lunch around noon and didn't offer me anything. She made phone calls right next to me, laughing and chatting with whoever was on the other end. The moment she hung up, her face went blank. I texted her, "Can we talk?" I watched her read it. Saw the typing dots appear and then stop. No response. That's when something clicked in my head. She could ignore me, but I didn't have to stay visible. That evening, I ordered takeout. Enough for one person. I ate at the table while Rachel microwaved some sad leftovers. I didn't offer her any of mine. She glanced at my food, then quickly looked away. I caught the frustration flash across her face. Here's the thing I realized. She expected me to keep serving her while being ignored. That wasn't how invisible worked. Saturday morning, I broke our usual routine. Normally, I did yard work on Saturdays. This time, I slept in until 10 o'clock. Rachel came to the bedroom door twice. I heard her footsteps, heard her pause, heard her leave. Around 11 o'clock, I heard her downstairs on the phone. "I don't know, he's still in bed. The yard looks terrible." I stayed in bed until noon. When I finally got up, I made myself an elaborate breakfast and left the kitchen slightly messy. Then I sat down at my computer and started researching something I hadn't thought about in years. Photography. I used to be a landscape photographer, not just as a hobby, but seriously, I had gallery showings, soul prints, spent every weekend shooting sunrise in the mountains or golden hour in the city. But over the years, Rachel had complained, too much time away, too much money on equipment. The house needed attention. Little by little, I'd stopped going out, sold some of my lenses. My good camera ended up buried in the closet under boxes of her craft supplies that she never actually used for crafts. But if I was invisible anyway, I could do whatever I wanted, starting with the things I'd given up. I pulled out my Canon with 3 lenses and set everything up on the dining room table to clean it. Rachel came downstairs while I was working. She stopped dead, staring at the equipment spread across the table. Her mouth opened like she was going to say something. Then she remembered her game and snapped it shut. Instead, she grabbed her purse and stormed out of the house. The front door slam shook the walls. I heard her on the phone through the window. He's doing it on purpose. I know he is. She was right. I absolutely was. Sunday morning, I got up at 6 o'clock, loaded my camera gear, and drove to Stone Mountain. I spent 4 hours shooting the sunrise, the fog rolling through the valleys, hikers on the trails. I didn't text Rachel, didn't tell her where I was going. I came back at 11 o'clock to find her pacing in the kitchen. When I walked in, her face flooded with relief. Then she remembered she couldn't acknowledge me, and the relief turned to anger. Her jaw clenched. She wanted to know where I'd been, but asking me meant admitting I existed. I spent the afternoon editing photos on my computer. Rachel hovered nearby, doing unnecessary tasks, constantly glancing at my screen. I was editing a shot of sunrise through fog, and I caught her staring at the image. She used to love my photography. Our eyes almost met. She looked away fast. That evening, I cooked pasta for myself. Just one serving, used the good ingredients, the expensive Parmesan. Rachel made herself a salad and sat across from me, staring at her sad greens while the smell of my dinner filled the kitchen. She got up and went upstairs. I heard her crying. For a moment, I felt guilty. Then I remembered she chose this. Every single silent minute of it. Monday arrived, day 5. I took over the guest bedroom as my office. Moved in my desk, my second monitor, my good chair, hung my photography prints on the walls. Rachel appeared in the doorway, watching me rearrange furniture. She looked conflicted, like she wanted to object, but couldn't without speaking. She closed herself in her own office. The door's slam echoed through the house. Later that afternoon, I blocked off my calendar. Photography time, 5 to 7 p.m. every evening. I noticed Rachel had a baby shower scheduled for next Saturday that she expected me to attend. I deleted it from my calendar and added Stone Mountain shoot instead. I heard her gasp from the other room. She appeared in my doorway holding her phone, pointing at the calendar, her face red with anger. "Did you need something?" I asked calmly. She turned and left without a word. Every change I made, every space I reclaimed was another crack in her control. That evening, I drove to Piedmont Park for golden hour, shot for 2 hours, talked to other photographers I met there, realized how isolated I'd become. I got home at 8 to find Rachel eating cereal for dinner. She glared at me and my camera at the freedom I was claiming. Tuesday, day 6. That morning, I got a message from an old friend, Derek, someone I used to shoot with every weekend before Rachel. He'd seen my Instagram posts. "Man, it's good to see you back at it. Want to grab coffee?" I met him at a place in Midtown. We talked for 2 hours about cameras and compositions and upcoming shoots. He asked where I'd been. I told him the short version. Got busy. Life happened. You know how it is. He looked at me like he knew there was more to the story. "Well, whatever brought you back. I'm glad you were always too good to just stop." We made plans to shoot together the following weekend. Walking back to my car, I realized how much I'd missed having friends who share my interests. Rachel had never understood the photography community, said it was just an excuse for me to avoid responsibilities at home. Later that day, I decided to cook. I've always been the better cook in our house. Rachel can barely make toast without burning it. I made Korean beef tacos for myself. The house smelled incredible. Rachel came downstairs, drawn by the smell. She watched me plate one perfect taco. I sat at the table and didn't look up. She made herself peanut butter toast and sat across from me staring at my meal. I'd spent 5 years cooking meals she barely appreciated. Now she got to appreciate what she'd taken for granted. Around 2 p.m., Rachel's friend Monica came over. They sat in the living room, talking. I walked through with my camera bag, heading out for a shoot. Monica said, "Oh, hey, Marcus." Heading out. Rachel made a sharp gesture at Monica. Monica looked confused. "Stop talking to me." Mid-sentence. I watched them have this silent exchange. Monica looked uncomfortable. "Rachel, this is weird." Rachel pulled her into the kitchen. I heard urgent whispers. "The whole month, he needs to learn." Monica's response was clear, even whispered. "This seems extreme." Even her friends thought this was crazy, but she was committed to winning. That night, I was updating my old photography website when I found something interesting in my message folder. Messages from a gallery owner from 18 months ago. Would love to show your work. Are you still shooting? I'd never seen these messages. I checked my spam folder. 3 more messages from galleries, all filtered by someone who wasn't me. She hadn't just discouraged my photography. She'd actively sabotaged it. That night, I stopped feeling guilty about the tacos. Wednesday, day 7, I reviewed our bank accounts. We kept separate finances, but had a shared household fund. I'd been contributing $2,800 a month. Rachel contributed $1,200, but that shared fund paid for her book club dues, her wine subscription, her craft supplies she never used. I created a spreadsheet showing the imbalance and printed it out. Left it on the kitchen counter with a sticky note. New budget starts next month. Rachel found it around noon. She stared at it for 5 full minutes. Then she grabbed her phone and called someone. He's being a complete yes, still not talking to me, but now he's changing our financial arrangement. Can he even do that? A pause while she listened. I know it's his money, but we had an agreement. Another pause. Her face fell. Fine, but this is exactly why we're doing this. He needs to remember his place. His place. That's what this was really about. I started researching divorce attorneys in Atlanta that afternoon. Just looking. Not ready to call yet. But I downloaded our financial documents, took photos of important paperwork, backed up my photography portfolio to the cloud. I wasn't planning to leave. I was planning for the possibility. Thursday, day 8. While Rachel was on a Zoom call, I rearranged the living room, created a proper photography viewing corner with good lighting, removed her 23 decorative pillows. Yes, 23. Donated them to Goodwill before she could stop me. I hung 3 of my landscape prints where her live, laugh, love signs had been. Rachel ended her call early and came downstairs. She went pale when she saw the changes. Started taking photos of the room with her phone, hands shaking. Evidence probably. That afternoon, I tackled our bedroom closet. My clothes had been crammed into 20% of the space. The rest was filled with Rachel's clothes, many with tags still on. Over $1,500 worth of unworn items. I boxed everything up and put the boxes in her office with a note. Donate or eBay, your choice. Then I spread my clothes out properly in the closet. She discovered it at 3 p.m. I heard screaming and crying through her office door as she called someone. He's dismantling our entire house. This is abusive. Her friend's voice was faint but clear. Rachel, maybe you should just talk to him. No, we committed to 30 days. That evening, Rachel tried to text me. We need to talk. I read it while she stood 6 feet away watching me. I didn't respond. Just put my phone face down and went back to editing photos. She wanted to change the rules because she was losing. I wasn't interested in renegotiating. Friday, day 9, I updated my dormant photography Instagram, posted 5 of my best recent shots from Stone Mountain and Piedmont Park. Within hours, over 200 likes, 30 comments from old photography friends. 2 gallery owners sent me direct messages. My old photography mentor commented, "Marcus, where have you been? These are incredible." Rachel's Instagram was linked to mine. She was seeing all the interaction, all the comments from other photographers, including several women. Her face showed jealousy mixed with anger. A gallery owner messaged me. "First Friday artist meetup next week at the Goat Farm Center. You should come bring your portfolio." I responded immediately. "I'll be there." Added it to our shared calendar. Rachel saw the notification. She typed and deleted 3 different messages. Finally left it alone. That evening, she made herself dinner at 5 p.m. during my usual photo time. Banged pots and pans loudly. I left for my shoot anyway. I got home at 9 o'clock. Rachel was still awake, my Instagram open on her laptop. She quickly closed it when I walked in. She'd been stalking my account. I went to the kitchen for water. She followed me. First time she'd followed me anywhere. She opened her mouth several times. Wanted to ask about the women commenting. Wanted to ask about the gallery meetup, but she couldn't ask without speaking to me. Finally, she grabbed her laptop and went upstairs. The door slam rattled the frame. She'd created the perfect trap. She couldn't control what she couldn't acknowledge. Saturday, day 10. I left at 5 o'clock in the morning for Arabia Mountain. Didn't tell Rachel where I was going. Spent the whole day shooting. Met up with photographer friends. Went to lunch in Decatur afterward. First real social interaction in months. I got home at 4 o'clock. Rachel's car was there, but she wasn't. I checked her location on our shared app. She was sitting in a coffee shop parking lot 3 blocks away. She'd been waiting to see when I'd come home. She was surveilling me. The invisible man had become her entire focus. That evening, Rachel had her book club over again. I was in my office with the door cracked. I could hear everything from the living room. Monica said, "Rachel, you've lost weight. You look exhausted." "I'm fine. This is working." Another voice. "Jessica, is it though? He seems happier than ever." "That's just stubbornness. He'll crack soon. It's been 10 days. Monica said, "I think you should talk to him." We committed to 30 days. The vote was 4:1. Jessica spoke up. "I didn't vote for this. I voted to have an honest conversation." "Well, it's too late now. I can't break first." "That means he wins." "Were you winning, Rachel?" Long silence. "My marriage. I'm winning my marriage back." Jessica's voice was quiet. "I don't think that's how it works." She turned our marriage into a game. She was determined to win. She couldn't see she'd already lost. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not from stress, but from excitement. I joined an online photography forum I used to be active on years ago. Posted some of my recent work in the critique section. Within an hour, I had 15 responses. Most were positive, offering technical suggestions and asking about my process. One comment stood out. "Welcome back, Marcus Reed. I remember your work from years ago. Glad to see you shooting again." Someone had remembered me. Someone had noticed I'd been gone and was happy I'd returned. It was such a small thing, but it hit me hard. I've been so focused on keeping Rachel happy that I'd forgotten. There was a whole community of people who valued what I did. That night, I sat in my office looking at the life I'd rebuilt in 10 days. Photography career restarting, space in my own home, financial boundaries set, freedom to move and breathe and exist. I compared it to the 5 years before. Walking on eggshells, abandoned hobbies, isolated from friends, constant criticism disguised as feedback. I opened Google and searched for divorce attorneys in Atlanta. I'd spent 10 days being invisible. Time to make it permanent. Sunday, day 11. I took phone consultations with 3 divorce attorneys from my car in various parking lots. The third one, Lauren Mitchell, said something that stuck with me. The silent treatment is a form of emotional abuse. Document everything. I chose her. Monday appointment scheduled. She emailed me intake forms and a document checklist. Sunday evening, after meeting with attorneys and creating my timeline, I found my old portfolio in a box in the garage. Physical prints from my best work. Awards from competitions I'd won. Press clippings from a feature in a local arts magazine. I'd forgotten about most of this. Rachel had never wanted these displayed in the house. So was bragging. So I'd packed them away and eventually forgot they existed. Looking through them now, I saw someone I barely recognized. A confident artist who'd had a vision and the skill to execute it. Someone who'd been recognized and celebrated for his work. That person had disappeared slowly over 5 years, but he was coming back. That evening, I meal prepped for the week. Rachel sat alone in the living room while I cooked. Usually, Sunday was our together day. Not anymore. I portioned everything into containers and labeled them. Made nothing for her. She ordered DoorDash for the 3rd time that week. The delivery driver looked between us awkwardly. Me cooking in the kitchen, Rachel on the couch, ignoring me. Even strangers could see our marriage was already over. Monday, day 12, I took a long lunch and met Lauren Mitchell in person. Her office was in Buckhead, professional and sleek. I explained everything. The book club vote, the coordinated silence, showed her my timeline and evidence. Her face was sympathetic, but not surprised. "I see cases like this more often than you'd think." She reviewed my financials. "You're in good shape. Separate accounts. No kids. House in both names. We can file immediately. 30-day waiting period in Georgia. Where will you go?" she asked. I hadn't thought that far. "Think about it," she said. "You'll need an address for the paperwork." I left her office and drove around Midtown. Realized I could actually afford my own place. Without supporting Rachel's spending, I had money. I stopped at a new building near Piedmont Park and toured a 1-bedroom with huge windows. Perfect light for editing photos. "I'll take it. When can I move in?" "Background check takes 24 hours. You could have keys by Wednesday. I paid the deposits right there. First time in weeks. I felt genuine excitement. I got home at 7 p.m. Rachel was waiting, aggressive energy radiating off her. Long lunch. Not a question, an accusation. I looked at her. Did you say something? She slammed her laptop shut and went upstairs. I heard her on the phone. He was gone for 4 hours today. 4 hours? Her friend responded. Rachel, you don't get to track him if you're not speaking to him. I'm his wife. Then act like it. Silence from Rachel. I only have 20 days left. I can do this. I thought you don't have 20 days. You have two. Tuesday, day 13. I got the email. Your application has been approved. I picked up keys during lunch. Toured my empty apartment with my camera. Took photos of the space. Imagine my life there. Photography on the walls. My furniture arranged my way. No more eggshells. Just peace. I had the keys to my new life. Now I just needed to pack up the old one. Rachel went to yoga every Tuesday at 6. That gave me 90 minutes. Perfect. I went to U-Haul after work and bought 20 moving boxes. Packing tape, markers, bubble wrap, loaded everything in my car and parked at the park near her house. I watched Rachel's car pull out at 5:55. Gave it 5 minutes to make sure she didn't come back. Then I pulled into the driveway at 6 p.m. sharp. I had 90 minutes to become truly invisible. I worked fast and systematic. Bedroom first. All my clothes, shoes, toiletries, bathroom next, my towels, grooming supplies. Office, computer, monitors, desk accessories, files. Living room, my photography prints, all my camera gear, tripods, light meters, garage, my tools, my bike, camping equipment, kitchen, just my coffee maker and my one good knife. Everything fit in 15 boxes plus equipment bags. 3 trips to load the car. By 7:25, I was done. The house looked strange now, holes where my things had been. Rachel's stuff everywhere, but my presence completely erased. Last item, the note. I sat at the kitchen counter and went through 3 drafts. The final version I wrote on our nice stationery. Ironic touch. Invisible means gone. For 2 weeks, you treated me like I didn't exist. I want you to know it worked. I finally see clearly what our marriage had become. You said I needed to learn my place. I learned my place isn't here. The divorce papers will be delivered by Friday. I've left everything that was truly ours, which as it turns out, wasn't much. Take the house, the furniture, the life you designed. I'll keep the parts of myself I almost lost. Thank you for the silent treatment. It was the greatest gift you ever gave me. It reminded me who I was before I became whoever you needed me to be. I'm not angry. I'm not hurt. I'm just gone. Don't call. Don't text. You wanted me invisible. Now I am. Marcus, P.S. You have 2 weeks to prepare your response to the divorce filing. That's more warning than you gave me. I placed the note in the exact center of the kitchen counter. Set my house keys on top of it. Kept only my car key. I walked out at 7:30 p.m. She'd be home at 7:45. 15 minutes for my entire life to disappear. I took one last look around. 5 years in this house. Couldn't remember the last time I'd felt at home here. I closed the door behind me and drove to my new apartment. I unloaded boxes while listening to music. Realized I was smiling, actually smiling. First genuine peace in years. I spent the next hour just sitting in my empty apartment. No furniture yet, just boxes and my camera equipment. The windows faced east. Perfect morning light. I imagined waking up here, making coffee in my own kitchen, editing photos at a desk positioned to catch the natural light. No one to criticize my mess. No one to complain about my schedule. No one to make me feel guilty for doing what I loved. Just space, just freedom, just possibility. I took a photo of the empty living room with my phone. Sent it to Derek with a caption, "New beginning." He responded immediately. "Hell yeah, brother. Let me know when you need help moving furniture." I had people who supported me. I'd just been too buried in my marriage to see them. Rachel got home at 7:45. I imagined her walking in. Marcus, real silence now, not weaponized. Something would feel wrong immediately. She'd see the living room, blank walls where my photos had been. She'd run upstairs, empty closet, bathroom, his stuff gone, office completely cleaned out. Back downstairs, frantic. Kitchen, the note. She'd read it once, twice, 3 times. Invisible means gone. Her hands would shake. She'd check the garage. Car gone, tools gone, everything gone. She'd look at the clock. 8:02. My phone started buzzing at 8:15. Rachel calling. I declined. Text message. Marcus, where are you? I didn't respond. Call. Declined. Call. Declined. Text. This isn't funny. Text. We need to talk. Text. Answer your phone. Call declined. Voicemail notification. Marcus, I don't know what you think you're doing, but you need to come home right now. More calls. More texts. I'm going to call the police. I finally responded. I'm not missing. I'm gone. There's a difference. Rachel, where are you? Me? Invisible. I blocked her number. Around 11 o'clock, my doorbell camera app started alerting me. I still had access to the camera at the old house. I checked the feed. Monica was there with Rachel on the porch. Monica trying to calm her down. Rachel crying, gesturing wildly. Monica eventually left. I got calls from unknown numbers. Rachel using her friends' phones. I didn't answer any of them. Text from Monica's number. Clearly, Rachel, you can't just leave your wife without talking to her. I responded. She didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. I'm returning the favor for 2 years. Block that number too. Finally, at 1:47 a.m., a text from Rachel's sister's phone. Please just tell her you're safe. I responded one last time. I'm safe. I'm happy. I'm free. Tell Rachel she got exactly what she wanted. I'm invisible now. I turn off my phone. Slept better that night than I had in 5 years. The next morning, I woke up in my new apartment to sunlight streaming through the windows. No tension in my shoulders. No knot in my stomach, just calm. I made coffee with my rescued coffee maker. Stood at the window, watching the city wake up. Picked up my camera and shot the morning light hitting the buildings across the street. Golden and warm and full of promise. My phone had 63 notifications when I turned it back on. All from Rachel or her friends. I deleted them without reading and blocked the new numbers. Changed my number that afternoon. Gave a new one only to people who mattered. Derek, my attorney, the gallery owners, my real friends. The divorce papers were served Friday morning as promised. Day 16. Rachel contested initially. This is because of a silly game. Her attorney heard our side, and the response was clear. A 2-week campaign of silent treatment isn't a game. It's abuse. Rachel tried everything over the next 60 days. Tears, bargaining, anger, promises to change. She left voicemails I never listened to. Showed up at my building. Security turned her away. She sent letters I returned unopened. Laura Mitchell told me she's going through the classic stages. Give her nothing. I gave her nothing. After 60 days, Rachel finally agreed to mediation. I sat across from her for the first time since day 14. She looked different, thinner, tired, older. She tried to speak to me directly. Lauren cut her off. All communication through attorneys, please. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. I felt nothing. The lack of emotion surprised even me. The settlement was fair. She kept the house. I didn't want it anyway. We split the remaining shared accounts 50/50. She owed me $8,400 for overpayment on the household fund. She'd sell the house within 6 months and give me my equity portion. Done in 90 minutes. Rachel tried one last time in the parking lot. Marcus, please. I walked past her like she wasn't there. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. 6 months later, my Midtown apartment was exactly what I needed. Photography prints covering every wall. My work. I'd booked 3 gallery shows in Atlanta. My Instagram following hit 12,000. I rejoined my old photography collective. The first gallery show was at a space in the old 4th Ward. 30 of my prints on the walls. A decent crowd showed up. People who appreciated the work, who understood the vision, who asked intelligent questions about technique and inspiration. Derek came, brought some mutual friends I hadn't seen in years. They all said the same thing. We missed you, man. Glad you're back. One woman bought 3 prints. Said she'd been following my Instagram and loved how my recent work captured freedom and transformation. You can feel the change in your life through these images. She said she was right. Every photo from the last 6 months carried the weight of liberation. You could see it in the compositions, in the light I chose, in the subjects I found worth capturing. I shot every weekend, mountains, coasts, city streets. My social calendar stayed full with gallery openings, photo walks, artist meetups. I dated occasionally. Nothing serious yet. Not rushing. I made my own meals on my own schedule. No more walking on eggshells. No more managing someone else's emotions. No more sacrificing pieces of myself. At a gallery opening where I was showing my work, another photographer looked at my mountain series. "These are incredible," she said. "You can feel the freedom in them." "Thanks. They're from my rebirth period." She smiled. "Rebirth period?" "Long story, but yeah, these are all from the last 6 months." "Only 6 months? You've been busy making up for lost time." Later, she asked if I'd been married. "Yeah, for 5 years." "What happened?" She wanted to teach me a lesson about being invisible. And I smiled. I learned, just not the lesson she intended. Late one night in my apartment editing photos, I thought about the man I was 2 years ago. Afraid to take up space, abandoning hobbies to keep peace, financially supporting someone who kept score, walking on eggshells in his own home. I thought about that book club vote for to 1, make him invisible. They wanted to teach me appreciation. What I learned instead was what my life looked like without constant criticism. Who I was when I stopped managing someone else's emotions. How much of myself I'd sacrificed for an illusion of peace. That being alone was better than being lonely in a relationship. That invisible meant free. 3 months after that, I was at a coffee shop in Virginia Highland editing photos. Rachel walked in with someone, maybe a new boyfriend, maybe just a friend. Our eyes met across the room. She froze, clearly wanted to come over. I held her gaze for a moment, then looked back down at my laptop. Complete dismissal. Not cruel, just done. She stood there for several seconds. Finally left without ordering. My friend sitting with me asked, "Was that her?" "Yeah, you okay?" I looked around, my work on my laptop, my camera bag beside me, my freedom to be here on a Wednesday afternoon. My life exactly as I wanted it. I'm better than okay. I'm visible. People ask me now if I regret how it ended. The truth is, it didn't end on day 14 when I walked out. It ended 2 weeks earlier when Rachel and her friends voted to make me invisible. They just didn't know it yet. The invisible treatment was supposed to teach me my place. Make me desperate for her attention. Remind me how much I needed her. Instead, it taught me how much I didn't. Some lessons aren't the ones you intended to teach. Some gifts don't look like gifts until later. Rachel gave me 2 weeks of silence, and I gave her exactly what she wanted. An invisible husband. He's gone now. In his place is someone better. Someone who takes up space, who creates art, who doesn't apologize for existing. These days, when people ask about my divorce, I tell them the truth. My wife treated me like I was invisible for 2 weeks. So, I made it permanent. Best decision I ever made. Not because I stopped being invisible to her, but because I finally became visible to myself. Please leave a comment about the video, and remember to subscribe to the Echo Tales YouTube channel.